Hi, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Season 5 of The Boys, where Homeland... That's enough. So, we're talking about Season 5 of The Boys today. Welcome back to the channel. Season 5 of The Boys is the final season, and that's really all I can really talk about, because I have a lot to talk about. Like, I'm not really good at these plot descriptions, but... So, The Boys is one of my favorite shows of all time. Those first 3 seasons were absolutely incredible, and I still think they are some of the best seasons in modern TV. An incredibly funny and smart spoof on the superhero genre that does take things to the extreme, and it was fun seeing them poke at tropes that got stale within the superhero genre, but it wasn't just that. It was genuinely well written. I cared about these characters and their dynamics. The acting was phenomenal, and just how serious they were able to take things and make you feel for these characters, wanting them to succeed and wanting some to fail. And while the outlandish extreme measures they took never felt as if it was just for shock value, even though it was, there for comedy, and again, it helped it stand out from the rest of the show. Now, I do know some people didn't like Season 4. I will admit there was a dip in quality, because I honestly barely remember anything from Season 4, other than, let's say, the Huey ripping ass on a cake. I weirdly remember that a lot. But I was worried about Season 5, mainly due to a similar show that I loved having a pretty polarizing ending, that being Stranger Things. And while I didn't hate that ending, there was still a lot about it that really frustrated me, and that was mainly the approach that the showrunners took to explaining plot holes in interviews instead of within the show, and how the show lost its magic. So does the final season of The Boys feel like this? I hate to say it, but Season 5 of The Boys is admittedly the weakest of the show by a long shot. I don't think it was entirely garbage, but there was still a lot within the show that, honestly, it was just a smaller scope of things that should not have been how the final season should have been. The expectations were not met, and while we spent most of it just dilly-dallying instead of running us towards the final episode of a show that has gone on for 7 years. 7. None of these episodes felt as if we were tumbling towards that, but rather it was just another season. It feels no different from Season 4 or Season 3 or Season 2. It feels as if maybe next year I'm supposed to check back in for Season 6. If there was one season to break against the 8-episode bullshit that honestly does ruin modern TV that you hear me bring up all the goddamn time, it would be this season. And funny enough, I didn't mind it for this show due to the length of the episodes making up for it. But that shouldn't be focused on a guy sniffing a cat girl's ass in the second to last episode of the series, where a pretty emotional thing happens. Or we shouldn't be focusing on, 3 minutes of Homelander's ass because Terror wants to fuck him or whatever. It just feels rushed, but at the same time, it also feels weirdly dragged on. Too much happens, yet so little. And while it was funny to watch, again, did we really need screen time dedicated to Butcher's dog having wet dreams about wanting to have sex with Homelander? Again, it's funny. I did find that moment funny. But this is the final season. And I know it's weird, the shock value humor, it feels as if they knew people were screaming at the wacky, bloody things and the word balls hit, so they try to do that as much as they could, and I think it can work at times. It's crazy that the guy went into the guy's penis in Season 3, but that was also balanced with, again, good writing. It's just here, it feels so forced. It kinda... I don't want to go into, comparing it to the comics, because, one, I haven't read it, so, excuse me, sir, but, two, from what I've seen of the comics, that was just edgy for the sake of edgy, and I don't think this show really gets to that length, but it feels like it. Also, so let's just talk about Soldier Boy. He sucked. Jensen Ackles is great as Soldier Boy. First off, I want to see this man in some underwear and his ex's prize-winning cat, because goddamn, he would be such a phenomenal Carl. Read this. Read this book. It is fucking funny. I'm on the 4th one. It's over there, but either way, I like Jensen Ackles a lot, but I hate how he was used in this. Matter of fact, after I just got done writing the script, the trailer for the new Vought Rising show came out, and that's all he ever is he is just here to set up a spin-off prequel, and he mentions Stormfront, Clara, so much that it's clear it's because they're going to be in that show. And it has become what it is made fun of. This was my issue with Gen V. This is why I skipped out on Gen V at first, was because I just didn't like the fact that there was a spinoff, and it just feels as if it kind of, again, it feels as if we're just doing what the show critiqued, and that was spinoffs, and that was this big cinematic universe, and like, you're making fun of this. Why are you doing that? You're losing the plot here. And will I watch Vought Rising? I don't know. I didn't watch Gen V because I just didn't really care for it that much, but I do like Soldier Boy, but so yeah. And speaking of Gen V, wow, what a useless show, am I right? Again, I haven't seen it, I didn't watch it, but the characters, from what I hear, they were supposed to be in here, and looks like season 2 might have set them up being here. Yeah, they show up for like 2 episodes, and then fuck off. Glad your show got canceled, huh? Your show got canceled, and then you guys get one last chance at a show that's literally just gonna end? But again, okay, kind of bringing it to a more positive angle, I think the acting was phenomenal. Anthony Starr as Homelander, one of the best castings, like, within modern times. Seriously, he is phenomenal. And Carl Urban is, again, great as Billy Butcher. Everyone is just great. I just love how everyone is played. But I weirdly didn't like Hugh and Starlight's relationship for the most part. It just felt like let's be honest, Annie. I don't like calling her Starlight, although, well, a lot of us do. I should call her Annie. It feels like it had this forced conflict with Huey that kind of got a bit annoying, but it was sort of like it was sort of like how she was randomly mad at him last season because he slept with a clone that looked exactly like her. It just felt like we were forcing conflict upon them. And I'm sorry, I fucking hated Kimiko this season, which is a damn shame because I loved her the previous seasons, but as soon as she starts talking, shut up. It's sad because this is a pretty big part of her character now, is that Kimiko speaking should have been a much bigger deal, and it was a big deal at the end of season 4, but here, what are they wasted on? Vagina, sex, boobs, pussy, vagina, dick, boobs, pussy. Really? Like, I do like it when she does take things seriously, but again, it just feels as if we're using emotional, impactful moments as just shock value. But Daveed Diggs as Oh Father was also a highlight. He was hilarious, and he can sing. I mean, it looks like he has a background in theater. I think he was in Hamilton, but no, he wasn't Hamilton. I don't know why I said I think. He was in Hamilton. I think he was Thomas Jefferson. I didn't watch Hamilton. I'm not that gay. Shout out to the gay homies, though. Seems fun. There's just a lot to talk about within season 5 of The Boys. And I just think the biggest offense here is that it doesn't feel like the final show of a season that's gone on for 7 seasons. I think this is much better than the Stranger Things finale. It doesn't really have many plot holes. Sure, there's things forgotten, but I don't see Eric Kerp having to explain plot holes in interviews with, I guess you just forgot about it. You guess, buddy, you wrote it. What happened? I love that. I'll get into how I feel about the final episode and how I feel about how characters sort of went in season 5, in spoilers. So let's just get to this. The Boys season 5 is underwhelming. The marketing makes you think that this will be the biggest season yet it's so small in scale. It does a storyline that could have been done in any season prior, and we could have still led to the final season. And in any attempts to make it feel grand, it honestly just fall flat. It's rushed, yet dragged out, while trying to cram so much into just 8 episodes, yet do nothing with what they want to cram in. Not letting anything breathe. However, the season does feel at least a bit satisfying where characters ended up and how their fates are. Season 5, I will give a C+. I think this is a case where it's like if there was a letter between C and B, I'd put it here. So, let's get into spoilers, and let me double check Bowser's fart isn't it? Hey, this is my first review. Actually, post all that bullshit. I'll get into that later. So let's talk about everyone's death. Who dies? A-Train. Man, A-Train's death fucking hit. I think he is the best character of this show without a doubt. Just the whole redemption arc that they gave him across the span of 5 seasons, and this being how it's paid off. I wish we got to see more of him, but I think that's just because of how much I like A-Train's character. I like that he isn't just a one-note bad guy, you know? He was a threat early in the seasons. He was like the main villain or main problem in season 1. He was the catalyst behind the whole thing. But this redemption that they gave him, especially in season 4 and especially here, I think was phenomenal. I love that he stops and he slows down to not run into a girl that looks like Robin. And I think that's ultimately what ended up killing him, by slowing him down. And I just think it's beautiful. I really love how they did A-Train. He is genuinely the best character of the show. Seeing him regret, apologize, seeing Huey forgive him, having characters just straight up call him out on, he was a real hero who did good things. Even though, he had issues. This guy's not going to heaven anytime soon. He fucked up a lot in the early seasons, but I love A-Train, and it is so sad to see him go, and his death actually really did affect me a lot, and I'm gonna pour one out for him. I'm not, I'm just getting the water. Yeah, again, it's weird to see just how far he's grown, and it's also, again, it's weird to just see that he was just in one episode, because of how big he's been in the show, and yeah. Now, Firecracker's death was kind of underwhelming. She was a character that you knew was going to get killed this season. And she just kind of felt a bit off this entire season. She gets killed because she had a relationship with Homelander's dad, Soldier Boy. And then she dies, and not much really comes out of it. Okay. She's in Orlando. And Black Noir's death, I do think, sucked as well, but not from, a story standpoint. First off, I don't like that they just ignore it. I don't like that they just kind of gloss over the fact that, oh yeah, Black Noir died again. But I just feel bad for him. I really liked what they were doing with him, and that segment where we saw how he was in the theater and how, he was chasing his dreams and how he gets treated at the Seven. And I feel bad for him, and I felt bad for the other Noir. I don't think these Noirs deserved it. Justice for my boy Noir. I'm also glad they didn't do that Homelander clone shit. I really thought they were gonna go that way because he wasn't talking, but yeah. And then Frenchie's death. It was the most emotional, despite my feelings for that sounded awful. Kimiko this season. When they actually make her mature and not act like a 12-year-old boy who just discovered swearing, their scenes are really emotional, and Frenchie's death hits really, really hard. Him getting his balls ripped off might have taken it away a little bit, but I think it was good. I think it was a really emotional waste, and hearing Kimiko sing after was great. And also, I feel like I'm gonna get something about this. Yes, Tom Capone, or whoever the fuck his name is a piece of shit. Fuck him. I hate him for what he did in real life, but at the same, it's kind of the Noah Schnapp thing, how does my feelings for that guy affect my opinion on the character? This is kind of a case where I can, pull these two apart, right? Again, that's a whole other thing where it's, separating the art from the artist, I do think is applicable in just a sort of it depends statement. David's music, I cannot listen to that shit no more. Fuck him and fuck that guy for what he did. But, kind of with Noah Schnapp and Will, I can like Will the character because nothing about Noah Schnapp's needs, other than the fact he's gay, really seeps into it, It's a weird case that kind of just, separating the art from the artist, I do think is an argument that I can support, but it really depends. It really depends on what the art is and how does that reflect with the artist. Anyways, I just feel like a lot of the deaths here were kind of played off for shock value. All Father's death, he just gets his head blown open. I think it was funny it was a ball gag, though, and I like the implication that Ashley just didn't know that would do that, and I'm kind of curious to see where that would go. I do think that was funny, but I actually kind of wish he lived. He was not a good person, but I liked him. I liked David Diggs' his old father. The Deep's death, I think, was the most disappointing to me. It was funny, but it happens. Because I like the idea that Starlight is just trying to give him, a way out. I think she should have slimed his ass out. Fuck him. I know we make jokes about the Peak, but let's think about it for a minute. The Deep is a terrible human being. And because of that, he's funny. Chase Crawford plays him so pathetically well that you can't help but laugh at him. Morally, yeah, he's garbage. But and even is reflected with how he just didn't want to take responsibility even at the end. But again, I think it was just kind of played off for shock value because it just happens. He gets a tentacle up his ass and through his mouth and he dies and we just move on. I feel like that should have been a much bigger moment. And again, I think the biggest issue with the final episode was just no time. This an hour and 7 minutes? No, we needed more time than that. So I just feel like I think 2 hours could have been great. It leaves no time for Butcher to go crazy, and his standoff with Huey barely has room to breathe. It kind of plays more so off of emotions than good writing. It's emotional seeing these characters end up like this. I feel cathartic seeing Homelander die, which I will get into in a bit. I feel sad seeing Billy Butcher die, but when you actually think about the events that led up to it, it's not good. It's like Arcane Season 2. I think it's a beautiful mess, you know? It's your emotions. It hits. It's beautiful to watch this happen. It's these emotions. But when you actually look at the story, I don't know. I hope you guys get what I'm saying here. Homelander's death, I think, was phenomenal. Outside of one thing, V1. We spend this entire season about the soup-killing virus, which has no payoff. Butcher was gonna use it, but then didn't. Honestly, don't think we really needed this. And V1, which is pretty much V, but it makes you immortal or invulnerable. And I think it makes you more powerful, because the episode that he gets it, he blasting lasers in the sky. You think he's gonna be this big almighty god. No, he's just kind of Homelander again. But now he can't die. Until he gets blasted by Kimiko's ray. What was the difference? Why did he need V1? Why did he need V1 if he was just gonna lose it immediately? I think he should have taken it a lot earlier in the season, and that way Kimiko getting the Soldier Boy treatment, because that's what... I forgot Soldier Boy's beam could take away powers like that. I just... Like, him proclaiming himself as a god, that's the way we want to take him? Again, it's that sense of, like, what we've heard, what was marketed, what was told about us, and this is just the payoff. Anyways, kind of getting back on a more positive note, Homelander crying on his knees is like a bitch is perfect. I think it is a perfect end for his character, and it's the satisfaction of seeing him die. To actually see this standoff between Butcher and Homelander pay off, and actually, after 7 years, get to see Butcher pop open Homelander's skull, I think it was great. And I think it was one of the better moments that they handled, other than the V1 stuff. I just don't know. Also, some people have had issue with this death. They said, oh, they made Homelander a bitch. He's a bitch. They say it. They call him a bitch multiple times. He is a pathetic little bitch. The only reason why he acts so tough is because he had powers. He loses his powers. Oh, I'll suck your dick. I'll eat your shit. I think that's Homelander. Homelander was never someone you were meant to idolize, and it's just this issue within the boys' fandom. It sort of faces a similar issue to the Stranger Things finale, where the main villain dies midway through the episode, and we still have time left. Except I actually think the length of the Stranger Things one let everyone's arcs wrapped up. I think that letting everyone's arcs wrap up worked. But here, Tara dies. I think that's sad. But one, I think it's just more so a personal thing. I would hate to find my dog like that. Two, I think it is also the real life thing of the actual dog dying in real life. I wonder how that must have been. And three, it's a dog dying. Yeah. You know, Terror wasn't really that much in the show, but I don't know, it's still sad to see him die. It is really emotional, but it kind of just comes out of nowhere. And I see some people theorize how he died. I think he's just old. I think it was just that he was old. Kimiko also had like a shit ton of radiation, apparently. That might have killed him. I don't know. Again, it comes out of nowhere, and I just think there wasn't really much set up other than the fact it was mentioned he was old because he ate chocolate. By the way, my dog Dexter ate a whole pound of chocolate and threw it up, and he's still running around over there. He's built different. Butcher, the final death with Butcher, though, it's exactly how I imagined it. It's kind of like the comics, but a bit more not hateful, you know? There's just a lot to rant about. From Homelander's V1 to Soldier Boy being announced for a spinoff to the Gen V characters doing nothing. I like where certain characters did end up. I like that they played Billy Joel in the final moments, and we were back where we left off in season 1, but it just feels like this isn't over. I watched the ending for one of my favorite shows, and it just feels like I watched season 5. Now I wait for season 6. No, season 6 will never come, unless they do The Boys 2 in the future. Okay, so, yeah, no, that Bowser fart shit was, again, funny, but really fucking annoying. Because I didn't want to redo those. I actually got my opinion perfectly out, and it was within the media source tab. I mean, it was in my audio mixer tab here. I didn't see it because it was hidden in there. And some of those videos got like 100 views. And what do people hear when they open up the video? What the fuck? I had some good things to say, and so my energy in how I did those reviews, I was just so frustrated because I just wanted to get them out of the way, and it just made me so much more overloaded or overwhelmed about how I was going to handle these reviews, because now I had like 5 reviews to do. Speaking of which, my next one is going to be Mando and Grogu, which I liked. I thought it was okay. You'll hear more about it. But yeah, I just got really annoyed, and that's why my energy was just so off, and it was nice doing this, because I get to talk about something new. Anyways, yeah, next review is Mando and Grogu. You'll probably get that tomorrow, either way, because this was a pretty lengthy one, but until then, oi, Uncle Homelander, you little people, what the fuck did he say? You, a elephant edged in the back of the beaver, in the bucket of the bib. See you guys. Where's this?